Hello, you're welcome. This is Newsfile, it's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile, as you know always, we put Ghana first. I'm Samson Ladi Ayenini, and this morning with my guests, and who is my guest? My guest is you, sitting by your television right now, or by your radio set, or however you are watching or listening to us. You are my guest. You have the opportunity to call us today and make a final pitch in 30 seconds, a final pitch for your candidate, and tell us why you are voting the way you will vote. Then, more importantly, because the elections have just come upon us, Monday, let's know what your issues are. What questions do you have for the Electoral Commission? What questions do you have for the police? Are there any legal issues that you need explaining as far as your right to vote and going to vote is concerned? We have the EC, we have police, and we have a lawyer. So this is a one-stop shop, if you like, one-stop class for everything you need to know about the elections. Thank you for joining us. Let me introduce my guests to you, and this morning in the studio to assist us, help with answering your questions and clearing any doubts and giving you the needed clarity before you step out to go to the polling station. Dr. Srebo Kweku, he is Director of Electoral Services, the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Also here in the studio is Superintendent Sheila Kessie Abeye Bachman, and she's Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service. We will be joined by Dr. Abdul Basit Aziz Bamba, who is Senior Lecturer, School of Law, University of Ghana, and Rhoda Osei Afo, Project Manager, Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, Secretariat. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for making the time to come to Newsfile this morning.
Thank you.
Right. So, as I indicated to you, we have two other guests. Rhoda Osei Afo, Mrs. Rhoda Osei Afo, Project Manager, Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, and Dr. Abdul Basit Aziz Bamba, Senior Lecturer, School of Law, University of Ghana. I was following a presentation that Dr. Abdul Basit was making this week to the Ghana Bar Association Greater Accra. He was the facilitator or speaker, educating all of us, his colleague lawyers, educating us on the issues of elections and election disputes. We've got the best to share with you this morning. So like I said, you make a final pitch, 30 seconds. Remember, so craft your statements. You make a final pitch, 30 seconds, for your candidate, and you tell us why you're voting for that candidate. That's the most important. Why are you voting for that particular candidate? We're talking about the presidential elections. And then you also ask your questions. What do you want to know? What bothers you as you go to vote? Let's know that. We'll talk a bit about the peace pact that was signed yesterday by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and John Dramani Mahama as well. Questions about how binding it is. How do you also see it? Do you feel bound? And why must you not feel bound by it if you support the NPP or you support the NDC? Right. So first, let me ask Dr. Srebo, there are a few questions that have already been filed by our viewers, so I'm going to ask you about it. You were very excited about the special voting because it went very well, correct? Sure. Okay. So what made it special for the Electoral Commission?
Okay. Thank you very much, and good morning, my sister, and good morning to our listeners. First, we have just introduced a new BVD machine. We tested it during the exhibition. We tested 5,000. But for it to go through the actual test of voting, we had not. We have all the assurances from the producers. But the joy is that we realized that it was faster, more efficient, and robust. I'll go to Kaswa, East, doing the special voting around 3:30. They had 6,632 people on the roll, and 570 had voted then. Then when I checked the battery stand, it was 53%. So it means that the battery can complete the duration of the voting plus extra. Because we had the fear that we may have problem with the battery, we provided 2 of the machines plus a power bank. Now, clearly, all things being equal, mean that we will not use the power bank and we will not use the extra battery. That's one. 2, I moved from KA to Kaswa on that date, and I visited 11 of the voting centers. And wherever I went, I have to ask the agents, which party are you representing? They were there having a chat, cordial. So I said that, we can do all these things. And you go on air as if we are enemies. So the joy is that on the field, you could see the Ghanaian spirit there, that people see themselves as Ghanaians. And that's what we are all praying for. Again, if you look at the stakeholders, the voters, the media, the security services, and who might matter, everybody was committed to the cause of the election. So that was enough for me. Then again, when we finished the exercise, the feedback from our stakeholders, so far I'm yet to get anybody who complained of having problem with the process. So if we are to replicate this on the 7th of December, then as we have been saying, we are going to have the best election in the history of the country. And that is my joy.
The understanding we had was that I heard about this police officer who said he had come all the way from Yeji or somewhere to a station where he was supposed to vote, and he didn't find his name. I suppose he may not be the only one who must have suffered this situation. How does that happen? And what do those people do? Or they have lost their votes?
Something, by the figures, I can say on authority, that about 13,000 of the people who put on the special voting didn't vote. And what I am seeing is that, no, you should belong to a constituency before you can cast your vote on the special voting. So if you registered in Joy FM and you sent your name for special voting, even though you might have been transferred to Asempa, the system will put you at Joy FM. So if you have not applied for transfer, you can't go and sit at Asempa because you are now there, demanding that you vote there.
Right.
So that is my suspicion, that these 13,000 people may have relocated after the registration, but they did not apply for transfer. So once you put in your application, the system goes by your police station code and assign you to that constituency. And you're talking about 13,000 people.
Whoa.
Huge number. And the process too is that the moment you put your name on the special voting, we remove you from the main register and put you on absent voters. So by implication, these 13,000 people have lost their votes. Because their names will not be on the special voting.
I think it's not by implication, because Regulation 23, Sub-Regulation 8 of the Public Elections Regulation 2020 CI 127 says a person whose name is transferred to the special voters list shall not vote on election day.
Correct. So you are confirming what I'm saying? Yes. So we have already lost 13,000 people already. So some people went to the polling station thinking that they are now at those places and they can vote.
Oh.
When they are not registered voters in that constitution. And I know my sister will bear with me that we have been engaging them for more than 3 months now. And we have been hitting on these issues. That once you have not applied for transfer, then your name will be in the constituency where you registered. Again, when you apply for special voting and you don't take advantage of that, you can't vote on the election day.
Okay.
So don't be surprised that on the 7th of December, some of these complaints will come up there.
Interesting. Just hold on briefly for me. And those of you who have already started calling, forgive me. I'm going to announce the phone lines are opened in the next 15 minutes. So please hold on. But like I advised, if you can, organize your thoughts so that you don't call and you're not thinking what to say. Organize your thoughts. You can write them down. I've seen some of the messages already. You and those are already accusing us that election year around this time we're discussing corruption against Mahama. This is our decision. We are discussing voter education. If that's your interest, that's fine. We can't fault you. If you call and that's what you want to talk about, that's fine. Right. So in 15 minutes, I will announce that the phone lines are opened. Then you can call, and our guests who have the expertise, who are the right people that must give you answers, will supply your answers. Thank you very much. Now, let me welcome Rhoda Oseafo joining us via Zoom. Hello, Rhoda. Hello, Rhoda.
Hello, Samson. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to hear your voice and to see your face. I mean, I can just see you there. Right. So I'll come to Rhoda shortly. Now, Sheila, what happens to these officers? I was listening to the police in Ashanti region say that there has been some arrangements, as in announced by the IGP, that assists together with the EC, that will assist the officers to be able to cast their ballot early enough on Monday so that they go to vote. They go to do their work.
Before I start, let me say a very big thank you to gurus of the media. Last night, they had interaction with IGP.
Right.
And it was fantastic. Thank you very much. Now, to our officers who could not vote on special voting day, before the day, internal messages have been circulated for everybody to check whether their names were on the special voters list or on the main list. And then headquarters also checked and found out that some officers did not have their names on the special voters list. So in addition to what headquarters did, officers were also to submit their names to their commanders across the country so that on election day, which is Monday, they will be deployed to places where they can still vote and perform duties. So because of that, there have even been changes in location of regions. So for instance, you could be working in Upper West region, but your voting post is in Ebri, for instance. It means that you would have to come to Ebri to perform duty and also vote. And that is what we have done. Regional deployments, as in people who have to move from one region to the other, has already been done. Yesterday, Joy News covered it extensively. And so we are hoping that our officers will be able to vote and still perform duties.
Now, by the explanation that the EC has given, which is law, is that the officers who were designated as special voters or put on the special voters list, once your name was transferred onto the special voters list, you are deemed absent on the election day. And the law says, as I just read it out, says, you shall not vote on election day if your name has been transferred to the special voters list.
For police officers, the 13,000 people that Dr. Strayboy is talking about, if it includes any police officers at all, might be those who perhaps have been deployed on mission or are simply not available or interested in voting. Because internally, everybody was encouraged to check their names first in the special voters register and also in the main register. The register was made available to police, and it was made available to all commands at all levels. And so I believe, from what we have also gathered as feedback from the ground, that every officer checked their names. So I will be surprised if an officer did not first check his or her name, either by sending the name to the code, because they also gave us a code, where if you sent your name to and you were in the special voters register, your ID came with SP, which meant that you could go on the day. Internally, IGP sent messages even to the phones of police officers. So I am sure that if there are any police officers who missed special voting, then it means that those police officers were either not in Ghana to exercise their franchise or they chose to. But those I'm talking about are those who are on the main register, whose names could not get onto the special voters register, but are willing to vote and want to vote. In fact, IG says that for as long as the person's name is on the main register, do not give the person the option of deciding that I want to vote or not. Simply deploy the person to the place where the person can exercise his franchise and still perform duty.
Rhoda, what do you think about this situation? What will CODEO, advise from where you sit?
Thank you very much, Samson. Let me say that this is quite unfortunate that it continues to be an issue with early voting exercise, that a number of people are always unable to vote, which is quite unfortunate. I think that is one thing that was a major issue for this special voting exercise. Other than that, it would have been it was a great success. And I think the Electoral Commission did quite well in terms of the arrangements they put in place, making sure that there was communication with the various institutions that were submitting personnel to take part in this exercise. They went on to issue press statements or releases informing people who were taking part in this particular exercise to check on their names from their website. So to a greater extent, I think they did well in terms of the arrangements that they put in place to ensure that people were going to be able to exercise their mandate. What I'm not sure is about is the communication, again, between the institutions that submitted the list and their personnel. So as our police officer in the studio has been telling us about the communication that they had internally, and here we want to, we know that it's not just the police that took part in this exercise. We are not sure of the other categories of personnel who took part in this exercise and the communication that they had about whether your name had successfully gone through or not. But at any point, we expected individuals to also, as much as possible, to go a step further, especially when the opportunity was made available for them to just check their names, just by even going on the EC website. So this is one area that we have to continuously work towards, because I think this opportunity, the opportunity of the special voting, is quite good. You don't find it in many other places on our continent, and it's one thing that I would commend the Electoral Commission. Over the years, they've been providing that opportunity, and they must continue to do that. But in terms of looking forward, we have to look at the loopholes. What are the real issues? I think for the various institutions, what was the communication lapses that resulted in this kind of situation? And once we are able to identify the real gaps, then of course we should be able to address them.
Dr. Kweku, there can't be any compromises
in terms of?
In terms of helping those who need help to vote.
Those who couldn't take advantage of it.
Yes.
You see, the system is that once your name is taken away from the list, your name will not be on the BVD. And if your name is not on the BVD, then it cannot be biometrically verified. So once you do the compromises, then it means that you are opening the Pandora box for people to abuse it.
So it's not only a legal, but also a technical issue.
Exactly. So the technical aspect just strengthens the legal aspect.
All right.
What does the law say?
All
then
right.
technically you implement that.
I get
so
that.
once the system says you can't vote, you're taken off.
I get it. So clearly, the technical mechanism is in full compliance with the law. This is unfortunate. Your colleagues will not be happy at all that they lose the opportunity to be part of the decision making as to who, governs the country,
Something, as Rhoda said, sometimes we must also take up some responsibility. The EC has made available the two registers, special voters register and a main register. And everybody had the opportunity of checking from these two documents,
right,
the one in which their names appeared. And like I said, particularly for the security agencies, it was a resolve of the National Election Security Task Force for every police officer or every security officer to have the opportunity of exercising the rights that the Constitution has given. So like I said, I want to believe that the 13,000 people that we are talking about, if at all they involve security service people, then they are either not around to exercise their franchise or they made the choice.
Okay.
I want to check in there. When I got to Senya West, I was at Breku. There was this security man, not a policeman anyway, who is there to cast the vote. Then he was fighting everybody on site because the name was in there. So I was standing there with the exception of Mabu, who knew me, the rest didn't. Then I politely invited him. What is your problem? He said, I'm here to vote, my name is not in. I said, did you apply? It's on automatic. Once I'm a security man, it's automatic. You can't deny me. So I called one of their top men in Accra, and he talked to his boss because we deal with them. Then he insulted his boss and just dropped the phone and left. So such a situation. There's some of them, they are not just interested in what is happening around them. They only go to a place to just create scenes.
All of us do that, don't we? When we have the opportunity during exhibition, we don't take advantage of it. And even when short codes are created so that we can simply, by the tap of our phones, get to confirm whether we exist on the voters register or not, and where we vote and all of that, we hardly take advantage of that. The typical Ghanaian attitude of the last minute, conduct.
But let me explain.
We all may need to change.
As my sister is saying, if your name is on the special voters list, that's why you have lost if you didn't. But if your name did not appear in that, then you are a normal voter. You vote on the 7th of December.
Okay. So those who have been affected can check ahead of time whether their names appeared on the special voters list. And if it didn't appear there, then it means they can vote.
And you can check on the main register too.
Check on the main register too.
Yes.
Okay. How do they do that?
You want to take them through?
Oh, this is easy.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
That shall not fall.
The seat is tall as yourself. So yeah. All right.
Okay.
So we are going to go through the process that you can check the special voters list. At this moment, we are speaking to the special voters who appear to have lost their right to vote on Monday. And again, we are hearing from elsewhere that there's an arrangement for them to vote. Now you can hear from the EC direct. There is no such arrangement because the EC does not intend to breach the law that governs what must happen. The only avenue is what Dr. Shrebo is beginning to explain to you. Let's begin. Sheila.
Several.
Okay.
If
Yes.
you go on the website of the commission,
which
is www.ec.gov.gh, you see, I don't know whether the system can pick it, special register and main register.
All right.
So when you click on which one is appropriate to you, then it said enter your voter ID.
Right.
And when you enter, your details will appear.
Okay. So simply by going to the EC website, you go to the EC website and you follow the instructions there. You enter your voter's ID where it requires it, and your details will come up. So you will know whether you are on the special voters list or you are on the normal voters list, the main list.
Yes, and when you go to Google Play,
okay,
the other one is the Apple one. I'm forgetting what it is.
Okay.
You have the EC app on it.
Okay.
So you download it.
You mean the Apple Store?
Yes, Apple Store. Good. So you have Ghana EC Voters Information Hub. So you download that one to, you get Electoral Commission of Ghana, then you install.
Okay.
When you install you click in your ID number.
All right.
And all your particulars will also appear.
Okay.
That's the second one. There's a third one.
Are you saying that when you key in, please go and check in what you're doing. When you key in your voter's ID, it will say you are on the main or you are on the special voters list.
If it's a website, you have the two registers there.
Yeah.
So you first, if you're a skilled person.
So we are showing it on TV for you, exactly.
So you go in first, you have the special register and the main register.
Yeah, so as you can see, we are showing you the special register. Right,
so
and the main register.
When you check, if you want to see, if you qualify to be on the special voting,
right,
you click there, it will open it for you, then you put in your ID number.
Exactly.
Whether you are there.
Great.
If not, you go to the main register.
Right.
The same thing and you get it there.
Right.
Then I've given you the other one, that is Google.
Okay, right. So this is how the police officers who missed the opportunity, and all other, not police officers alone, all other persons who were supposed to vote on December 1 but didn't find their names or something else happened or didn't turn up, this is how to ensure that you may be able to vote on Monday.
Then the other one is normal Android.
Right.
You key in star 711 star 2020 hash. Then it will open, then you key in your voter ID number and your police station code.
Okay.
That one will also give you the details.
Star 711 star
2020 hash.
2020 hash. Okay. And then the details will come up. Then you'll be directed as to what to do. Thank you very much for assisting people this very useful way. I think it settles the issue for the many people who were under the impression that there's some arrangement so they can go early and vote. And if you went there and you don't have the opportunity of having heard this, don't go fight anybody. Like Dr. Sribo said, don't go fight anybody. Right. So security preparations, I'm going to go to the phone lines quickly. We want to hear from you. Of course, the IGP has spoken about that. Let's hear the IGP first, and then we'll come to Sheila. The IGP has spoken about preparations for Monday. So we'll hear him quickly, and then we'll hear Sheila also take us through how things will happen.
Adequate orientation, ladies and gentlemen, has been given to all our personnel in the security services to desist from any act which will expose their political leaning. or which might impair their professional judgment. We have briefed our officers to remain professional, impartial, and be committed to their constitutionally mandated task. I wish to warn any person or group of persons who has the intention of ruining the smooth run of the elections to desist from such intentions, because we will deal decisively with any person who tries to disrupt the elections.
Right. So as I promised, the time is up. I'm going to have to take your phone calls, and we will take answers for the issues that you have, and then we will have Sheila return to also deal with the security issues, mainly the security issues. We will deal with the election-related issues, as in your right to vote, when you get to the polling station, what can happen, what cannot happen. If you don't have a mask, you lose your vote, or what happens, and all of those things. And then Sheila will take us through everything we need to know about the security preparations. So we'll take a quick break and return to pick your calls.